Hey everyone, welcome to Pop XP. And before the show starts, make sure to click that subscribe button and click the bell to get notifications when we go live and we upload awesome new content. And don't forget, if you can, make sure to share our stream on all your social media outlets. We appreciate it, and thanks for helping us grow the Pop XP channel. Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's the brain of the mainframe here from Pop XP, Nile, Scala, and we're here with another exciting episode of Crowdfunding Comics on Pop XP with the hostess with the mostest, my co-host, the most amazing Frank Amazing there could ever be, Mr. Frank Amazing. How are you doing tonight?
Good. How are you, Brain?
I am just fantastic. It's a lovely night, talking with some lovely independent creators. One that we've had on once before.
Yes. Yep. We've had Todd on
Yes,
before,
we have.
and he was doing, I believe, Tokyo Blade Detectives #2, if I'm not mistaken. So
I don't think you are mistaken, because tonight we have Todd Black on for Tokyo Blade Detectives #3. Why don't you introduce them?
you already did.
Todd Black!
Yes! It is I! Vader Zim reference. Great way to start the show.
Thank you. You know, I figure you're the type. You're fun. You're a fun
Yeah.
guy. I figure we can have some
Look at
fun.
the
No
hair.
big deal.
Hello.
I know. What'd you do? Just get a blowout today?
Oh, it's just this is my fro. This is how I roll.
Nice. How do you condition something like that? Like, what is the process with that beautiful hairdo?
Well, it's a three-step process. First, you grow the fro.
Mhm.
Then you try and maintain the fro, and you don't do anything else. It just happens this way. It's a glorious thing.
Do you have like one of those like salon like air dryers?
No.
In your, because I would figure you would have to.
No, all this is natural. Just yeah. Sometimes my parents go, "Oh, Todd, comb your hair today." Like, no. Like,
Oh.
oh, okay. That's right, Mama. I don't need to do it.
It looks comfortable.
I love my.
It
I love
looks
it.
really comfortable.
It gives extra padding for
This,
You know.
everything.
this is the only good-looking thing on me. All right, but just being honest. There.
Oh, come on. You're being
No,
modest.
serious.
You're being modest.
No, really not.
Well, anyways, Todd, let's get into some meat and potatoes.
I already ate pizza.
Pizza? What? I haven't even eaten yet. I'm starving. I'm absolutely starving.
You're always starving.
I've only been drinking. I know. I like to eat. What can I
Yeah.
say? I'm a Scala. Hey, that's all we
Yeah.
do is eat, and we eat
Yeah.
really fast. So, Todd, for
Yes.
our viewers out there that aren't familiar with the show, that may not be familiar with you, give us a little bit of you, your origin story, and how you got into comic books and crowdfunding.
So I got into superheroes honestly when I was about 4 years old. My dad introduced me to Batman the Animated Series, of course, the all-time classic cartoon. And so from there, I watched like every superhero cartoon I could: Spider-Man, X-Men, Superman, Justice League, all of them. And then as I grew up in high school, I was really starting to develop my writing talent, and I was like, what would my superhero story be? So I came up with what I was going to define as a four-part movie series called The Guardians. And then when I got into college, I really started to advance my writing via video game writing. And I went to my first Comic-Con, C2E2, and there was a panel there called Making Comics the Marvel Way. In that panel was Matt Fraction, who was doing Invincible Iron Man at the time. And I asked him, I'm a writer and I want to try and make comics. What would you recommend? And he goes, want to make comics? Go find an artist and go make comics. So 2 years later, I found it took me a while to realize, oh yeah, you have to pay people to make comics. You know, that would be nice to know. But I finally started making comics with Guardians. I made 20 issues of that series. Then I started Kickstarter with my second series, which was called Home, which was a sci-fi fantasy miniseries. Then I did 5 issues of that on Kickstarter, got it all funded. Then I did a Disney Pixar style-esque graphic novel called 10,000 Miles. That was on Kickstarter. Branched out to some other things, including a science comic called Secrets of Science, and then Sherlock Holmes novels that are apparently completely legal to write. Who knew? So I started doing that, and then my newest series is, of course, Tokyo Blade Detectives, which so far has been completely funded on Kickstarter. So it's been about, say it's 2020 right now, about 7-year career, give or take. It's been a long ride, but I'm enjoying it.
So now you've got your comic book series that you've done. Obviously, we're going to talk about one tonight that's continuing on with issue 3. But you talk about your Sherlock Holmes story. So you also write novels as well?
Yes. I have 5 Sherlock Holmes novels. All of them are on Amazon. It's called Sherlock Holmes, The Greatest Detective. And I'm writing an original novel right now that I may get done eventually. But of course, I'm pretty sure George R.R. Martin said the same thing. So maybe there's no hope. But
But there's a dream.
Of spring.
Yes. Yeah. So let's get into this now. So you've got Tokyo Blade Detectives #3 up on Kickstarter, and you currently have 16 days to go as of 9:16 p.m. on August 14th, 2020. And you have met goal.
Yes.
This is now the 3rd installment in your series. And let me ask, I mean, and you may have said this on when you were on our show last, but how many books are in this series?
Right now, we're aiming just to get done with the first arc, which is 4 issues. And then in terms of how long the series could go, this is an ongoing series. And so I have ideas for well down the line. I already know what the next at least 2 arcs are going to be, and then certain story points that are going to be done throughout. So I'm willing to take this as long as possible.
So your idea, is it going to be that you kind of do back-to-back Kickstarters with the first arc, take a break, go to something else, and then come back, or just plow all the way through and see how long it takes? Currently,
yes. The idea is to do the first arc and then stop for a little bit, because it's obviously this year has been anything but stable, and I want to shop this series around to publishers who will hopefully see that this is something special, that I do the work and all that. So, and by the time 4 is done, it'll be basically the end of the year. So I'm like, let's give people a break from the Kickstarters and just work on other things. And I have some of the things in the fire right now that I'm hoping to get back to soon. The pandemic just screwed up so many comic plans.
Yeah, I know. It's been an interesting voyage for many of us now.
Yeah. I have my Secrets of Science comic, which I do. We were in February. We were on cloud 9. We just released our 4th issue, and we were like, okay, we're planning for 5, 6, 7, and 8. We already had all the people lined up, and then the pandemic hit, and so.
Well, did you re-gear? Did you refocus? Like, all right, we can't do conventions. I can't do this. I can't do that. Yeah. Did this allow you then to take more time, more focus on your other works, or even Tokyo Blade?
It honestly just made me appreciate Tokyo more, because this was the one that I was doing during the pandemic, especially with issue 2, because the Kickstarter was ending like right when the pandemic really hit in the US. And thankfully, I only had one person back out because of what was going on. But it could have been a lot worse. And so I gave, once I got done with 2, I took as much time as I felt was fair before launching number 3. And I even have on the page, you might have seen when you scrolled, that I talk about the pandemic and say, if you can only pledge $1 or $5, $3, whatever, it's fine. And if you can't pledge it all because of what's going on, I get it. And so that's why the goal was $750, which is the lowest I've ever done, because I wanted to take as much of the cost off, just so that I knew that not only we would get funded, but that people wouldn't, in case I lost backers because of the pandemic, that we could still make the comics. So I was trying to help out people as much as I could here. But yeah, it's like I said, it's all about refocusing and just accepting the situation. And especially with where I am in my comics career, I've got a loyal following, but that doesn't mean they can all pledge. So I'm just trying to do what I can, get to new people, get to people who do have $1 or $2 to spare, and just making it work. And then once this one's done, we're going to go right into issue 4, so we can start getting ready for that Kickstarter, and then we'll just take it from there, because that's all we can do right now.
So what's Tokyo Blade about?
All right, Tokyo Blade Detectives is set about 200 years in the future in Japan. And the country has just been ravaged by war. It's been basically burned to the ground and rebuilt with technology. And they desire to go back to their more traditional ways while also embracing their technology. So you'll notice that the clothing is very feudal at points while also being futuristic. And there's one law that cannot be broken. You cannot have a gun. And so because of their technology that they have, they decided to fill the power vacuum by making laser swords. Yeah, I can't say the other word, so it's laser swords. And so this creates a problem, though, because a lot of people can get these swords, and thus 5 factions rise up to challenge the government in the capital of Tokyo. And so the capital, in many ways, is just a battleground of when the next faction is going to strike and how and who will get caught in the crossfire. And this brings us to our main character named Mika, who is in the cover image you see there. And she's a 16-year-old detective just trying to make it day by day. And in the first arc, which we are in, she gets a case that just completely changes everything. And issue 3 is technically the end of that case, and then issue 4 is a prelude, interlude, sequel kind of thing. It's something different I've never done before. But by the end of issue 3, you're going to see exactly why everyone is so why everything is so not good right now in Tokyo. So it's really fun. I call it my anime comic because I wanted to make it look like an anime, feel like an anime. It has the drama of an anime, and of course, really awesome fight scenes, which we've had in 1 and 2, and we have in our own way in 3, which you see slightly via the first 5 pages we've drawn. And we have some really cool visuals. I introduced a faction called the Yokai, who are my terrorists of Japan. And they love that panel. The BAM panel, love that panel. So that just ruins your day. It's like, is this you driving down the road when all of a sudden a giant masked demon human person crashes into your car? But I've been waiting for issues to show them because of their abilities. It's really cool. And this comic is so much fun. I've had a lot of fun writing and thinking, how anime can I make this? What are the cool visual effects like that? The yokai smoke, and there's a lot going on. It's just really a lot of fun.
Now, is this still consisting of the same team? Your creative team, your artist, colorist,
yes.
letterer, all of that?
The only change is our editor. Her name's Casey Pierce, and she's from Source Point Press, and she's a fellow writer, and she joined a Red Pen Media, who was the company that I worked with my first issue with David Hayes, also Source Point. And she came out with 3. She really loves the comic, and so we work really well. I've known her for years because of Source Point, and so we have a really good team. But my artist and my letterer are the same as we had in issue 1, Lam Vuvan and Zak Sam.
Oh, very
and then
cool,
me,
man.
obviously.
Oh, nice. So putting this together, are you looking at any stretch goals, anything that you're adding to the campaign?
Actually, if you go back to the campaign page, we actually just announced right before the show that we are having a stretch goal right there at the top. Yeah, right there. So if we hit 100 backers, I am going to be giving away digital copies of my Sherlock books.
Oh,
cool.
Yeah, and it will not matter what tier you pledge to, as long as we get to 100. So if you pledge $1, which is literally just a thank you email, you'll still get that email, but you'll get some Sherlock Holmes books as well. So
very cool.
Yeah,
that's really cool. What made you decide to do that?
Because I wanted to reach 100.
Yeah.
I'm greedy, dang it. No, my first 5 Kickstarters, I was just trying to get funded, and especially because back then I had a very small circle and I was still learning the Kickstarter thing, and I was just happy with however many backers we got. With 10,000 miles, I wanted to get to 100, but that was my highest I ever went for a Kickstarter. I think I went $3,000, and I was just trying so hard to get there, and we did. And it just so happened we got 113 backers. When we did Tokyo, I wanted 100, but I didn't know if we'd get it, and then we did. And then for the second issue, we missed it by 4. And I knew 4 people who promised to pledge but didn't. So it was just we were so close. So for this one, I did a lot more time and building into it and promoting and doing shows like yours. And I'm I really want to get to 100. So the last few days, we've had only a few backers. And so it's I gotta, get some motivating factors. And I've never offered my Sherlock books on a Kickstarter before because they're pure novels. They're not comics. So I wanted to offer something fresh, and whether it's 1 book or 5 books, that's still fresh content. And so I was let's offer this. And Casey totally agrees. She really thinks this will help out. So we're like I said, you can see right there at the time of this recording, we're 25 away. So if we get to 100 and stay at 100 by the time we are over on August 31st, people will get digital PDF versions of my Sherlock books. Depending on how many we get, it'll be between like 2 and 5. So,
nice.
Yeah.
That's not
cool.
bad.
That's not bad at all, especially
Yeah.
with what's going on right now and people still being locked down or lockdowns being reinstated. It just gives more media to have. So once the campaign ends, you're at 100 backers, 101 backers.
Yeah.
Will that instantly go out? The digital books?
I mean, I guess I could. Yeah, I probably could. I could do that. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I'll write that down because I'll forget. But those books are already done. So I guess, that could be like my reward. Thank you for helping me get to 100 backers and a successful campaign. That's a great idea. I'll write that down.
That is a good idea, huh?
Yeah. Now the good news is that we're actually almost done with number 3 right now. We were already well into this, as I noted, with the smaller Kickstarter goal. And the moment we hit the end of the first week, which is well after we hit our funding goal, I contacted Lum and said, okay, let's get the last 5 pages going. So by the time the Kickstarter ends, potentially we'll only have like maybe a page to do left, and then the lettering and drawing in people, because one of our rewards, you can get drawn into the comic book. And so like the lighter things, but like number 2 took longer because I wanted to get the Kickstarter out, which obviously benefited me because it was right before the pandemic. But with this one, we got a lot of the work done, so we could really rush this out to people because they really need it right now. We all, like I said, we all need new content.
Yeah, we do. So, I hear you, man.
Yeah,
that's cool. I like that idea.
Now, with how things are right now, do you see any effect with printing and shipping of your book?
I thought about that during the second book because, like, again, that was like really at the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, is this going to work? And sure enough, it did, for the most part. And we only had like a few things. Now, I can't speak to the mailing because I can mail it very easily. My post office is like 1,000 feet that way. But obviously, with what's all going on in the government, the post office isn't in the best place right now. And I had a person tell me like they got the books 2 months after I shipped them. I'm like, wow, I know, right? So I promise that it will be shipped out in an orderly fashion. I can't guarantee that it'll get to you in a quick fashion. Some will, some won't. It really just depends on what state you are. But that's why for most of like the physical copy rewards, you get a digital PDF. So that way, if like for some reason it's like a week and you don't get it, you can still go to the digital one and read it, and we'll just wait for your physical copy to come. So.
Yeah. Well, I think I think a lot of things are starting to straighten up a little bit with that. So hopefully you won't have too many issues when it comes to that. But, so you've got this Kickstarter going. Once this ends, obviously you'll move to fulfillment. You were saying you're going to take the last half of the year off from Kickstarter, your next Kickstarter, or are you jumping into another one?
No, I'm once we're done with 3, we're going to start right into work of number 4. And then based on time, maybe like October, November, we'll do number 4. And then that'll be the end of the year, and then I'll take a break from Tokyo for a while to work on other projects that I might have going, and then we'll see where we are, and then we'll see if I start number 5 on Kickstarter next year. So.
Okay, awesome. Now, what are you going to do with convention scenes? Now, you hoping to? Did you reschedule for 2021s?
I mean, right now that's all we can do. I mean, I got lucky in certain ways that. I was supposed to do 2 cons in 5 weeks this year, and between February and March. It's supposed to be C2E2, a local con, Planet Comic Con, another local con, and I got my first 2 in. C2E2, which I used to complain about, was in February. How ironic, but actually, it's so ironic because we were all complaining because it used to be in April, then it was March, and then they scheduled like the last week of February. And it's like, what the heck? And then it was like right before the pandemic. So if it had been at its usual time, we all would have missed it. Yeah. So, I did get those 2 cons, and then everything started getting canceled. I technically have a con still via Grand Rapids Comic Con, but that's in November. So right now that's like 50-50. That even comes. So, and if it did, I guarantee it won't be at like the capacity it was last year, because some people won't want to go because of the risk of, disease and all that, which I totally understand.
Oh yeah,
But
of course.
2021, I'm praying beyond praying that everything's back, because especially for a guy like me, I work from home and do comics.
Yeah.
I need the cons, because I'm
Yeah.
in my house basically all day, all
Mhm.
week, because it's just how my job works. I go out to see my family. I go out to get my weekly comics. Like if when church was active, I could go to church, or movie theaters. Remember movie theaters? Pepperidge Farm remembers. So it's like, I miss the con. I miss my friends. I have con friends who I see like at like various local cons in Illinois, and I haven't seen them since like the first week of March because everything was canceled, and that really hurts. And so I really hope that by 2021 everything is well enough that we can do this again, because I was supposed to have my biggest year ever, this year, and so
yeah, we're feeling you. We were supposed to do our same, have our booths. We have our booths this year. We're actually gonna have the whole mobile studio set up, doing interviews from the show, traveling around.
I was doing cons that I had never done before. Like I was supposed to do Planet Comic-Con for the first time. I had been trying to go to that for 2 years, and then I was really feeling that I would get into New York Comic-Con this year. And then of course the announcement went out the other day that they're just going to do virtual cons, which I totally respect. Totally right to, because I have a friend in New York. I know how bad it is there. But it's just like, I was so close. I could feel it.
Maybe next year.
Maybe next year.
Maybe next year. Maybe next year. Everything's just maybe next year, which is cool though. It gives us more time to create. I know we've been really trying to push a new video, 2 to 3 recorded videos a week now, and 2 or 3, live shows a week, and just having something new for everyone every night,
And by next year, by next C2E2 or whatever, I'm going to have the first volume of Tokyo out. So, and buying the first issue was all I had to offer at cons. It's like, here's the first volume. There you go.
There you go. So again, man, so we really appreciate you coming on. I mean, it's awesome that you've got issue 3 out. 4 is going to be underway shortly after. I mean, you're currently, you have 75 backers, 16 days to go. You are funded, so the book is coming out. But the trick here, everyone, is 75 backers, but we need to get to 100. So some free Sherlock Holmes books that Todd has written will be emailed to you.
So if 2 certain hosts were to pledge $1 a piece, that would get us to 77. But where are those hosts?
I don't know. Which show are you going to go on? Which show are those guys on? I don't know. I'm sure they're somewhere. I'm sure you'll see some familiar names pop up for you. But again, Todd, we appreciate you coming on. Awesome book. I really like the design, the whole anime style and your character design, your writing. We look forward to actually seeing this book in our hands. And good luck with everything, my friend.
Thanks, guys. I'll see you on the next one.
All right. Thanks for joining the show.
Bye, Todd.
And scene. All right, Todd, man. Thanks so much for coming on. I'll have this video edited up over the weekend. It'll probably pop up Monday night as our Monday night video, and then I'll have Frank push your book through Facebook and Twitter, and then I'll put up an Instagram post too. We'll see if we can help you reach the 100K by we'll throw it up a couple times like throughout the duration of your 16 days.
That would be great. And then just let me know when the video is up, and I'll put in our media coverage section of the comics.
All right, excellent. Yeah, I'll send you the link and everything, so you'll have it all. Perfect. So I'll make the promo screen for it and all that stuff, and I can mail that to you too if you want to add it into anything.
Sounds good.
All right, brother. I hope you have a good one. Stay safe. Keep us in the loop. Whatever else you got coming out, just shoot us an email. We'll get you back on. Next time you're on, we'll do a live for you. We'll rotate it.
Okay.
All right.
See you guys.
Bye. Hey everyone, thank you for joining us on Pop XP. If you haven't already, make sure to click that subscribe button and also click the bell for notifications when we go live and we upload some awesome new content. Also, don't forget to head on over to Twitter and follow us at the Pop XP and over on Instagram at the Pop XP. Thanks again everyone, and we'll see you soon.